Today we are going to learn a new lesson of literature. Have you ever thought about what are various literature genres? There are five genres of literature: poetry, drama, prose, non-fiction, and media. You will see some overlap between genres. For example, prose is a broader term that includes both drama and non-fiction. Poetry, this is often considered the oldest form of literature. Can you imagine people started writing poetry before they started writing prose? They used to express themselves through poetry. Before writing was invented, before they actually started writing, oral stories were commonly put into some sort of poetic form to make them easier to remember and recite. Prose. Once you know what poetry is, it's easy to define prose. Prose can be defined as any kind of written text that isn't a poetry, which means drama discussed below is technically a type of prose. The most typical varieties of prose are novels and short stories, while other types include letters, diaries, journals, and non-fiction. This picture, when you look at it, what comes to your mind? You can write it down in your diary. In my opinion, this is a child who has lost her parents. Do you know what they are called? Yes, orphans. This is a story that we are going to learn now. It's all about a girl who lost her parents. What happens in her life after that, how it affects us, is going to be discussed in the story. Which of these two pictures do you like more? Which place would you like to visit? Why? Note it down in your diary. Let me know what you think about it. Now, this picture, first one, and these are the two second pictures. Which place will you prefer and why? For me, if you want me to answer, I'll prefer the first one because the second picture, is a place where I already live. So I would prefer somewhere near nature to live because there I'll find plenty of space as a child to play. And when I get up, I don't have to just look from one building to another. Yes, so from a child's point of view, I'll prefer the first place. Anyway, when you have to go to vacations, when you plan your vacations, where do you prefer going? Yes, somewhere near nature. Now this brings us to the lesson. Heidi learns to read. Do you know this is just a part of the story of a very famous name of the very famous novel, of the same name, that is Heidi, written by Johanna Spyri. We are going to read an extract out of that famous novel written for children. The main characters of this story are Heidi, Frau Sissemann, Clara, Fraulein Rottenmeier, and there are mentions of a boy named Peter. Now, as the story begins, we get an introduction that Heidi learn about Heidi's stories, one part in this lesson. The complete story is in the novel Heidi. You read it when you get a chance. Okay. So Heidi is an 8-year-old girl who is a Swiss orphan. Swiss orphan means she was born in Switzerland and she was an orphan means she lost her parents. Yes. At a very young age she lost them and then she went to live with her grandfather in the Alps in Switzerland. Okay. In the mountain areas. She grows to love the mountains, the flowers and the animals, and she has a friend there named Peter who grazes her grandfather's goats. As you can see in the picture. Then her aunt works at a wealthy family in Frankfurt and she was sent to her. There are many things that you won't find a reference in this story, but I'm telling you because I have gone through the novel. Okay, so with her aunt she went to Frankfurt to be a companion of a rich girl. Now what is a companion? Somebody to accompany you all the time. And why did she go to accompany Clara? Because Clara was wheelchair bound. Her lower body, her legs didn't work, and she was a wheelchair bound girl. So Heidi was sent there to just be a companion, a friend to her. Okay. Now, when she was there in Frankfurt, she used to miss the mountains and the pine trees. She was very unhappy in Frankfurt. She already didn't have her parents. Now, once she even was taken away from the mountains and the trees and the greenery, she couldn't adjust in Frankfurt. Okay, but she was a very polite child and she tried to adjust. Now, there was Clara's grandmother also living with them. And in this extract, the part of the story that we are going to learn and read as your chapter, in this extract, we see how Clara's grandmother begins to understand how much Heidi longs to go back to the mountain. Longs means wants to from her deep down, her heart desires, and to the bright sunshine of the mountains. So the story starts like this. The following day after dinner, Clara's grandmother, Frau Sisselmann, said to Fraulein Rettenmeier, the housekeeper, go and bring Heidi to my room. So the story starts with Clara's grandmother, who is Frau Sisselmann, that is Mrs. Sisselmann, says to the housekeeper, who is Miss Rottenmeier, Fraulein Rottenmeier. She says, go and bring Heidi to my room. And she wanted to give some nice books to Heidi. But what was Fraulein Rottenmeier's response? She threw her hands in despair and said, what is the use of books to her? She doesn't even know the alphabets yet. It is quite impossible to teach her anything. The tutor will tell you her himself. He didn't have the patience of a saint. If he didn't have the patience of a saint, he would have given up trying to teach her long ago. Now what she is trying to say that there is no use of giving a book to Heidi because she doesn't even recognize alphabets, and Fraulein Rottenmeier doesn't seem to like Heidi very much, and she is telling that the tutor is having the patience of a saint. That's why he is even trying to teach her. Now Clara's grandmother, the Clara's family looks, seems very nice because even as Eddie has come just to be the companion to Clara, still they were trying to teach her, and Clara's grandmother is trying to give her nice books. So it seems like the family was very nice, but Fraulein Rottenmeier didn't like Heidi much. We can see from this extract, and she is complaining to Clara's grandmother that there is no use of giving her books, and the tutor also should have given up by now if he didn't have the patience of a saint. That's what she is telling her. Now, what is the response of Clara's grandmother? She says that that's very strange. She says that the child doesn't strike me as being stupid. Means she is trying to say and think and analyze if AD was not able to learn because she didn't have the capability, or there was some other reason. Okay, this is the what this discussion is heading towards. Then she says shortly, okay, you go and fetch her. Even if she can't read, she can look at the pictures for the time being. Okay, Fraulein Rottenmeier was about to say some more, but Frau Sisselmann had turned away and gone quickly towards her own room. She didn't entertain the complaints of the housekeeper for a longer time and just told her to bring Heidi to her room. She was very surprised at the housekeeper's remarks. Who is the housekeeper? Fraulein Rottenmeier. And she was determined to find out. She was not as immature as the housekeeper here seems. She is just, for a small girl, she is just jumping to conclusions that she cannot read. She is stupid. What Clara's grandmother is trying to do here? She is trying to determine What is the whole matter? Why the child is not able to learn? She is not declaring anything. This is what you should do. Anything you see, you don't just jump to the judgment. You try to go to the root of the problem. So that's what Clara's grandmother was trying to do. And then she was thinking, maybe I'll talk to the tutor also, and but as he will just explain in a roundabout lengthy way, so she thought that if I myself talk to the child, I will reach to the root of the problem quickly. Okay, then Heidi was greatly delighted with the beautiful colored pictures in the book with grandmother had brought, and she comes to the room and sees the book, and she's delighted, and she cried aloud as she turned the pages. Why she cried aloud? And she started even crying. Tears were streaming down her cheeks. And why was that? Because in the book she saw beautiful green pastures of all sorts of animals gazing. Okay, the book was depicting a beautiful green pasture, and in the midst a shepherd leaned upon his stick and looked happily at his flock. Everything was bathed in green light for the golden light for the sun, and the sun was just setting on the horizon. Now this scene reminded her of what? Yes, you guessed it right, her home. And that is the reason she started crying. Now you see how deeply she was missing her home. Yes, now in the next video, we will find out, did she or she did not finally learn to read and write. I'll see you all in my next video. Okay?